Hello there, and welcome to The Road Less Traveled. I'm your host, Dolo. Who is Dolo, you ask? I'm an artist. I make music, I write, I am art, I create. Okay, so Happy New Year to you. I'm glad you've joined me, and I look forward to us getting to know each other this year. Here on The Road Less Traveled, I tend to talk about the minority or the minority opinion in the sense of individuals with an actual self concept, those who decide to dedicate time to reflect and balance out accordingly. This is the place for the conscious, those who intend to think, align with their inner being, those who intend to think, those who actively think and attempt to align with their inner being. Welcome. The Road Less Traveled on YouTube is an extension of my podcast that can be found on Amazon, Alexa, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Anchor, Spotify, and Podcast Republic. So if you're wanting to listen to something and that's more convenient, yeah, find me on there, The Road Less Traveled. I decided that we should do the face-to-face thing this year, kind of. My face to your screen. I mean, I appreciate you being here and sharing your time with me. Thank you. So, long story short, a woman has been hitting some changes. Yeah. I'm making new and different strides from every angle in my life, right down to my songwriting. And I intend to keep a positive vibration as often as possible to enjoy my life journey and to keep making my magic. I mean, I say this to say that I'm dedicating my first season of 2022, The Road Less Traveled, to manifestation. If you're interested even a little bit, if you're interested a little bit, stick around, okay? I implore you to hit the subscribe button and stick around because this is going to be quite the season. One new episode every Monday. After this first introduction, we ain't going to talk about it. After this, every Monday. So I will be including success stories from manifestation, not only my own success stories, but other people's successful manifestation stories that I'm hearing. And if you want to send me one, that would be fabulous and amazing. My email is not only linked below, but it is doloformayor@gmail.com. That's doloformayor@gmail.com, linked below. Also, in the description box below, you'll find my website, dolo1.com. That's dolo, the number 1.com. And you can also find links if you want to donate to the page or donate to the mission, the manifesting mission. Before I begin, I will be clear. I know most of manifesting from experience because that's how I learn, truthfully. You can talk to me until you're blue in the face, but until I actually try it, I probably have no idea what you're talking about. So, I learned a lot of it from experience, even back to before I realized I was doing it. I will say listening to individuals like Abraham Hicks helped to answer a lot of my gray area questions. I personally could not find a satisfactory answer when it came to some of my questions. And, I researched a few religions, I tried some things, I've learned a lot about spirituality and individualism and religion. So much I've learned, I just decided, above all, this made the most sense to me the way that Abraham Hicks explained it. Abraham Hicks explains manifestation and the law of attraction in a simple way, albeit not the simplest way for some individuals because it happens, but just right for me. She's such a gem. She is such a gem. Her wording helped me put it all together, like all the little bits and pieces that I've been collecting my whole life. She helped me put it all together because she explains it the way that I understand. And so, I don't idolize anyone. But I am very fond of her, and everything that she has explained adds up to me. It makes sense. It's very neutral. It's very unbiased, and it's very general. Like I feel like everyone could definitely apply it to their life in some way if you sit down and think about it. And yeah, she's just neutral and unbiased in all that she says if you listen, and very consistent. She is consistent when she speaks, no matter what is being asked. I found her videos on YouTube during a dark period in which I had fallen off of my positive vibe or out of my positive vibe, however you want to think of it. I fell off. I was unbalanced and I was sulking. I was just sulking about life in general. I hated everything and everybody, to be real. It was a period that felt as if every time I opened my mouth to speak, either my words would be twisted by the other party I was speaking to, or it would genuinely feel as if I was the teacher from Charlie Brown or from Peanuts. You remember the teacher, wah, 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 wah. That's how I felt all the time when I was talking. Wah, 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 wah. Right? So that's how I realized I was off balance because anytime I start talking and the people around me are looking at me all crazy, that means I'm probably elevating again. I'm thinking about stuff that they're not thinking about, they don't care about. And that's fine, to each his own, because this is the thing about it. It's a individual journey. Like for real, it is an individual journey. It would genuinely feel as if I were speaking a foreign language. Um, Sometimes there would just be an absence of response. Like you ever say something and people are just looking at you, like just looking, and then you're not sure if you said something at all, if they just looking at you because they want to look at you, or if they're looking at you because of what you said, or if they just didn't hear what you said, or yeah, like yeah, it was one of those periods where communication was dead. It was dead communication, kaput. After a while, it seemed as if I was the person in the corner in the straitjacket. Okay, yeah, that was me. That was me. It's okay. I got rid of the jacket. It's okay. But yes, that was me. I had gotten off track. I realized I needed to stop everything and go back into self-reflection and figure out what the actual problem was. I had to go back to self-reflection so that I could find out what the actual problem is, because I've learned over my lifetime that every time I self-reflect, I realize more. I advance. I can pull it back in. I can reformulate a plan. Things work out for me personally when I stop and self-reflect. If things are feeling crazy around me or things are not adding up, no matter what I say or do, I'm off balance and I got to stop and see what's going on. My first official introduction was mostly from a friend of mine back in 2017, someone I had grown up with, one of my best friends growing up. I came to listen to many people and read many things. Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, and stories like The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Sir, forgive me if that's not your name. The Art of Living Consciously by Nathaniel Branden. That's a good read, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably still haven't actually finished the book, but I do love it. Recently, I ran across so many people that I wasn't familiar with when I initially learned about the law of attraction. And so I can't call out everyone, but I am a supporter. So if I've watched your video, I've liked your video because I appreciate you sharing the content regardless. And sometimes, as a human, I don't relate to everything that's said. I don't relate to everything that's said, and or I may not agree with everything that's said. As a human, it happens. Even spiritually, it's very acceptable. We're very different people, and everyone is going to take what they need from the information that's given. So that's how that went. There are lots of people out here with this information. Everyone, says it in their own way, and depending on how it's delivered, you may understand it better from one person than the other. Kind of like I said with me, Abraham Hicks explained it the best for me. Like it just penetrated. But I'm sure a lot more played into that. So like, time, age, because again, I did visit all of the idea of manifesting and the law of attraction years ago, like way back when, but I didn't grasp all of it. Every time I visited it over the years, I didn't grasp what was being said, and I do now. Around this past October, I got back on my journey, and this time I was older, even more experienced, and Abraham Hicks spoke my language. I plan to translate for those who may understand this overall subject put another way. I've been told that I'm helpful, direct, and patient when explaining things, so let's give it a try. Really, I perform everything pretty well once I understand the concept or the construction of. I'm that person. Like I need to understand the how, like what I need to understand what is expected. I need to know if there are specifics to get there. And once I grasp the how, it's over. It's over. Once I grasp the how, it's just done. Anyway, manifesting is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as to show something clearly through signs or actions. I like that. Simple. To get to the good, manifesting is not something that you have to be doing intentionally. So, you always manifest, even if you are not doing it on purpose. It is proven that one can make things happen materially or otherwise by committing to do so mentally and following through wholeheartedly. You are manifesting even if you are not intentionally manifesting. It doesn't stop. You can't stop it. There's nothing you can do to so yeah, you can't stop it. It just happens. So the best thing to do is to learn that it's happening and train it. Because when you train it, it's like magic for real. I mean, you just boopity boopity boop boop. So the difference between this and simply making plans and following through is that sometimes things will attract to you in an inexplicable way or a very unlikely, far-fetched way. Or seriously, sometimes in a way that goes against any logic at all. I've seen it. It's happened. The law of attraction is another life standard, similar to the law of gravity. I know you've probably heard it referred to that way many times, but I feel like that's the simplest way to keep it. If you know gravity is real, you need to understand that the law of attraction is real as well. Whether you're in on the plan or not, the universe will follow through. And before I get too far into this, I do want to be clear on me referring to the universe. I am one of those people, I feel like it's all the same. I genuinely feel like if you're referring to it as God, Jehovah, uh, Buddha, Allah, Donald Trump, the universe, my spirit guides, my ancestors, like literally whomever you pray to and or believe and or don't believe, just understand it's a reference. At the end of the day, there's a greater power that is handling all of this along with us. You were doled out some power. You were given your portion of the power. Okay, because the way that I'm understanding this, the study of life in general, the concept of life, the way that it's understood by me is that we are all spirits. We make a decision as to how we want to come to this planet before we come to this planet. And you either put out the intention of learning how to live the dream and how to make the magic, forgetting how you did it last time, coming back into a new body, and learning how to walk the walk to get what you want, to overcome the 3D world, the physical world, what's here on earth with us. It's a process if you choose to come back as a human and do it that way. Now, if you are just into living in the moment, feeling the passions, you want to feel all the fighting and the love making and reproducing and you wanna run fast or you wanna fly or something, you come back as an animal. Now, I'm not at the point that I know all the specifics, obviously, as to how it's this, like which animal. I have my suspicions, but who am I? I'm Dolo. Dolo, that's me. Dolo. Yeah. So anyway, I have my suspicions, and long story short, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. However, this is what I believe, and if it makes sense to you, if it touches you on the inside where you was already feeling like this, welcome. So yeah, long story short, you choose how you want to come onto this planet, into this 3D world. Uh, what your upfront focus is to be, pretty much, in what you're looking for. And so, if you chose to come back as a human, for instance, it's a journey. There's no way you're going to complete perfection before you leave this earth. We are eternal beings. Our inner spirit is an eternal being. So it doesn't die. It doesn't die. It moves. It shifts from one place to the other, from one realm, from one location, from one world to the other. It may come back and forth. It all depends on what you know. So yeah, there's that. Manifesting is basically drawing things to you or calling on what you want. As humans, looking at what we see in the physical world or in the 3D world, it's all the same. Physical, 3D, that's here on earth, that's what you can, tangible stuff, what you touch, feel, you know, this, what we're sitting in. We are looking at what we see in the physical world and convincing ourselves that this is reality, but it isn't. What your life is right now, where you live, where you work, is pretty much a reel of what you've been thinking and and genuinely feeling within yourself up until now. And it's reflecting. You see reflection. It's happening now because it happened already. And since you either focus on it on purpose or not on purpose, it continues to keep happening. You don't realize that you're looking at old stuff around you. You don't realize that all this already happened. It could change, but you'd have to change here in order for that to change. I know that sounds so like surface level, simple, like why is she not really giving us the details? But what it comes down to is that once you start changing it here, it genuinely starts to change all around on the outside. And so everything that you're living, your home, your car, your spouse, they're all past thoughts of things that you wanted. And again, if you focus on what you see, on purpose or not on purpose, it's going to stay that way because that's the thought process that you're giving out. That is a vibration. You haven't changed it. It's going to keep happening that way. This then means that you would have to make something up in your mind and actually believe it wholeheartedly to see something else begin to play in front of you, right? Absolutely. That is absolutely what that means. Because thoughts and words are so powerful, they must be maintained if you want the power to work properly. What this means is that making negative jokes about yourself, about your world, your life, your abilities, the people you experience, and what you really feel. Please hear me. What you really feel about yourself behind closed doors will keep you resistant to what is yours. Until you realize what you're doing to yourself, just because no one else knows what you're thinking doesn't mean it can't hold you back. It can. Just because no one else knows what you're thinking does not mean it cannot hold you back. It can. It will. It does. Your thoughts already have a momentum going, and they have a theme. The need here is to simply pay attention to what you're thinking. when you are thinking it. That doesn't mean keep track. How many times did I think about that today? How many times did I think negatively? How many, oh, I got to do this more. Let me count, let me tally up. No, it doesn't mean keep track. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean count the bad thoughts and scold yourself and go take it back and feel guilty for slipping up. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to do any of that. It means to acknowledge that you did have a backwards thought and now you move on. Move on to something positive. Sitting in a place is what drives the momentum of your thoughts. Going back to scold yourself is completely unnecessary and counterproductive to your mind works. It takes practice, and you don't have to start all over if you make a mistake. The quicker and more positively you welcome and dismiss the thought, the better your vibration. The higher you continue to make the momentum of your thoughts, your positive thoughts and desires, the better off your surroundings and results will be. You must actively do your part. Just show up. If you feel that you would be wrong for wanting something that feels good to you all the way through, feels genuinely good to you, if you don't believe that you deserve to have something, or that you're being selfish, that it's asking too much, that resources are limited, that you must sacrifice, you will need to work on the root of what makes you feel that way. Usually it's because someone somewhere said it. You were taught that. If you don't feel you deserve whatever you want and that you create that, it won't come. You can't get positive, lasting results from negative thinking patterns. You can't get positive, lasting results from negative thinking patterns. A misconception is that you have to be a standard type of good person. It's not that. Don't misunderstand. You don't have to be a standard good person that everybody agrees is a good person. It's not that at all. There is no right or wrong. What it comes down to, simply put, is that you move based on what genuinely feels good to you. Or at least this is how you're supposed to move. We are meant to move based on what genuinely feels good to our inner being. So how can there be a standard? We're all different inner beings. You understand? Like, nobody's asking you to be the right, good person. Okay? Align with who you are on the inside. It just so happens that if you're a good person with good acts, you get what you want without the recall. Without the recall. Without the return. You get lasting results when you are a good person with good acts that knows how to treat other people. I mean, that's just how that works. The better you are, the better you get. But again, it doesn't mean you can't be you. If you is a negative person, you can be you. Just understand you're going to get what you want sometimes, because sometimes you're going to accidentally align anyway. And sometimes, probably more than the other times, you're not going to get what you want. Or you'll get what you want and it's not going to be the way you wanted it. Or you'll get what you want and you'll lose what you want because your vibration is just not it. Okay? But again, we're all individuals, and that's all based on how you want this to manifest in your life. I personally like to be a good person all the way through. That's who my inner being is. And, you know, I could insert some long stories about my childhood and how nobody liked my inner being, but I won't, because at the end of the day, after everything I've been through, which, thank you, after everything I've been through, um, my inner being is still intact. Like she still wants to love. My inner being still wants to love, wants to care, wants to give, wants to share. That's my inner being. Welcome. Okay. And I'm happy with that. Anyway, um, so you are not in debt. When you are in a place that you can receive all of this, when you're in a place that you really want to learn about it and it makes sense to you, that means you're ready. And you have to understand at that point that you are not in debt. I don't care what bills you're looking at right now. I don't care what your situation is. I guarantee I've probably been there. Probably twice with the t-shirt. But understand, you are not in debt. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone anything. You're not limited. You are not lacking. Don't forget it. Okay? Because I think that's the easiest thing to forget. Here in the 3D world, we convince each other that we're not doing enough and that we got to be more and that we're not giving enough and that we're being selfish. But understand that that's what's been holding you back as an individual if you really are believing that. If you let someone put that in your head and it stayed there and it grew there and it fermented there, of course that's what you think. We all have a certain momentum going right now that if we want changes, we have to change that momentum. We have to slow it down. So for instance, if you're used to picking on people and being a bully and manhandling people and just being rude and nasty, you might want to start slowing that down. Like if you're normally rude to 10 people in a day, try to pull it back to like 8 people. You know what I mean? Like only be rude to 8 people and be nice to the other two. You know what I mean? Slowly but surely, you'll start to reverse that momentum. My example is probably the worst, but Abraham Hicks has better ones. Long story short, whatever it is that your mind is accustomed to thinking, you need to start to slow it down and turn it around. This does not happen immediately. It does not happen overnight. It took forever for these thoughts to get into your head, and then after your experiences of thinking these thoughts, believing these thoughts, and therefore recycling these thoughts into your physical world, because of that, it's hard to think otherwise, I'm sure. But once you start doing it slowly but surely, just catch yourself. That's all you gotta do. Catch yourself. Catch yourself when you're working against yourself. Get out of your way. That's it. It's actually pretty simple stuff. But anyway, that misconception about having to be a good person, just align with who you are on the inside. Um, what everyone what everyone excuses as karma or getting what's coming to you, getting what you deserve, and how you have to work harder, you need to be this, you need to be that. Please throw all that out the window because it's not true. I'm here to tell you it's not true. Not only am I a believer, but I am a practicer. And my thoughts came from the worst, darkest, deepest of places. And again, it wasn't my inner being because that's not who I genuinely am, but I got comfortable there because my whole life, majority of my life was that. And I didn't see anything strange about it because I didn't know any better. And actually, a lot of times I was surrounded by people that made fun of happy people. You see somebody happy and they may be singing or dancing or, they may look a little strange, they may be dressed a little differently, and they may be saying happy things. Hey, would you like a hug? Let's be happy. Let's all be happy. Oh, it's gonna get better. Oh, you woke up this morning. All of those annoyingly perky and annoyingly happy people. Uh, at least you feel they're annoying when you're in that place, and that's fine because again, this world is reflecting what we're thinking, what we're doing. Again, that's also factual. I can relate that to my own life. Um, I won't drag it on though because truthfully, I think I have to get my thoughts together on exactly how I want to start with this. There's so much information. There's so much information. There's so many things that seem confusing at first when you don't know about it. You don't know what's going on, and or you're not sure if you're doing it right. You don't know. Like there's so many confusing thoughts that you may or may not have as an individual because I had a little bit of everything. But I realized after the fact that as a human, I was doing too much. I was trying to control things that I don't control. I was trying to understand things that aren't meant for me to understand. And I'm still working hard every day. Like this is again, this is a lifelong journey for all of us. And if you fall off and get out your vibration, your positive vibration, and things aren't going so great, that does not mean you're done. That means get back on track, start over. What that means is what you need to pause, like stop, identify what's wrong, and fix it within yourself. Though, like don't, it doesn't matter who said what, where. None of that matters. None of that matters. And again, I understand it may seem complicated at first, especially if this is your first go at it. It's gonna be like, oh, she's crazy. What the heck is she talking about? Ain't no way. I got these bills. I got these kids. I got the. Yeah, no, I got all that. I barely notice the bills most of the time these days because the system and practicing. And my kids are more pleasures than pains. So, like, long story short, I don't feel overwhelmed or pressed about that stuff. But I did. There was a point I was so overwhelmed. I was so pressed. I was crying. I was praying. I was pleading. I was begging. I was acting out. I got lost. I got found. I got lost again. And then when they found me, I got lost on the way to being found. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was a mess. It was a whole mess. But what I will say is nowadays when I fall off, it's nowhere near where I used to fall off. And you can also get there. Whatever applies to your life as far as falling off and being in your good, you can get there. Do what works for you. I'm just going to try to translate what I've learned and hopefully make some of it a little more relatable for some of you because I know a lot of times when I started watching some of the videos, I would look, everybody, not only did everybody already seem like so happy from the jump, like they seemed so happy, which was unrelatable to me because I wasn't happy. But then on top of that, every time I look at the videos, I'm watching the surroundings, I'm like, okay, well, they have a really happy place. Like their place is happy, it's bright, and they got their little neat bed and stuff. And I mean, who knows? Maybe that's what you're thinking about my place. It's cool. I like it. It works for me. Uh, yeah, it's neat. It's neat. Is it the end result? No. Do I love it? Yes. Was it on time? Indeed. It works. I am blessed. I am always blessed. I'm favored by the universe. I get what I want and I keep it. Okay? So that's my reintroduction. I really just came on to do that, give the reintroduction for the new year, 2022, new year. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that this is what you want to learn about. And yeah, let's do this. Let's walk this journey together because at the end of every day, I'm a hippie. I just want to spread love and peace and joy. Don't get me wrong, there's another side that I'm learning to control. But overall, I just want to spread love. That's it. And so if you're into spreading love and or if you're into Dolo and or if you're into manifesting and or if you're into just watching videos because you're bored and you just want to listen to somebody talk, hey, here I am. Welcome. Long story short, I'm going to plug all of my links below. I appreciate you being here. And something I normally say on my podcast, which I think I'm going to keep up for my YouTube extension, is real ones. Stay real. Be great. Don't accept the hate. And never surrender to the pretender. Dolo out.